Welcome back to the channel, everyone. And in today's video, I will be going over some of the books that I own personally, that I have read, and that I would recommend to someone trying to break into offensive security, ethical hacking to start. And probably even though some of them might be a little bit on the advanced side, I would still highly recommend just to help develop the mindset. So let's hop right in and see what books I'm going to choose. So, as I said, these will be my top 5 books that I would recommend for someone trying to break into offensive security, ethical hacking. Number 1 is going to be critical. This book I actually read probably about 2.5 months ago. So, for context, a lot of these books that I have, well, mainly on this side, not so much that side, I have technically not opened up these books and read for the most part. I do when I buy a book, I make sure it has an audiobook. So I listen to the audiobook when I'm at the gym, if I go running, walking, whatever. So mainly these ones I will listen to on audiobooks. Any of these ones over here. Most of the cyber side books, I don't like doing the audio just because I like to go over the material, do some of the practice stuff that they have in there, and also use them as a reference. So just to give you some authenticity and how I operate with my books. So number 1 is going to be The Hacker Mindset. Again, I didn't read this one for about 2.5 months ago. This is great having this kind of mindset going into this field because it is new. A lot of people don't have the patience for it. Some of the methodologies are different. From what people say is you have to use a different part of your brain. For the most part, it is doable. You just got to keep practicing. For me, for this, if I was to say it another way, this book would help you develop that mindset and philosophy, way of thinking of a hacker. And then also giving you that kind of training you in that way to use certain things, certain tools, again, certain philosophies, methodologies. But for me, best way to say it, especially if it's new, is muscle memory, being consistent, showing up, making yourself accountable for your training on what you're trying to learn and accomplish. So this, for someone starting off, I would highly recommend this. Again, I kind of had this already built for those that know, watch my videos, how I got started into offensive security, ethical hacking back when I was in high school, and still doing it on the side earlier in my career when I was in real estate facilities, physical security. I was always in tune and doing it. So for someone that has never even touched or a Kali Linux or Parrot box or whatever, this would be great for someone to get started building that mindset. Number 2, I'm going to pick this one just because they get a sense of, in my opinion, who's the GOAT, Kevin Mitnick, The Art of Deception. I know he has a couple other books, but I like this one the best just because, number 1, controlling the human element of security, which it says right here, The Art of Deception. That would be my number 2. I think this one really dives into pretty much, hacking the human, showing that hacking is not just about networks internally. And it also goes over the easiest point to hack, which is the human, right? The most vulnerable thing to someone's assets, organization, life, right? Because you could get someone's ID or not ID, live a different identity, not yourself. That is key and critical in today's day and age. So I think that's great to get and elaborate and build up, not just on the philosophy side of things, but also now build out your way of thinking and seeing the different aspects of ethical hacking, offensive security. So that right there would be my number 2 recommendation. Before even touching to the other stuff, it's going to be, I guess, more, I don't want to say theory, but more of that stuff. That would be my top 2. Number 3 is going to be social engineering, leaning off of that topic of The Art of Deception. I always get those books confused. But social engineering, The Art of Human Hacking. Once you get that down, I I believe those two down. I believe going into that, getting more into the nuts and bolts of hacking the human, the art of human hacking. I think that gives a good foundation of how, especially today, most of these social engineering hacks happen. Um, I think that's a great book. They have, I believe, 2 or 3 more in the series, if I'm not mistaken. I think 2 or 3. I'm not sure if the other one's part of it, but there is more. But I like that one the best to start off. That's again my opinion. Um, I just think that building that foundation, if you're starting today, that is going to be key in understanding how those attacks take place. Again, it's the majority of the attacks that are happening are from social engineering, hacking the human. Next would be number 4 is going to be a hands-on introduction breaking in ethical hacking. These books, as you can see, I have a ton of them. I really love these books going over, especially if you're new. This one's from Daniel Graham. Especially if you're new, going over some of the stuff, the material that they have inside, and especially doing, like I said, doing the stuff that they have inside. Some of them have some stuff you could do. I know the Python and the Go have it. But also for me, why I like these books, again, as I said earlier, I like them for referencing stuff. These always help out, especially I got the Nmap one there, that big Bible of a book. They also have the online version as well, but I like them for manuals or reference manuals, because you always have stuff in there that you could access. But this is going to be good because it breaks in the understanding of the baseline of ethical hacking. It pretty much goes through all the basics, setting up your Kali box, going through the network fundamentals, exploitation, controlling the network, etc. It pretty much does a good job in hand-holding someone to get the basic understanding of ethical hacking. So that book right there would be my number 4. Last but not least, Open Source Intelligence Techniques. This is the 4th edition. I'm not sure if there's a new one coming out. I got this. I've had this for a while. This is from Michael Bazzell. Here it is right here. This, I believe, would be great coming in, building up that baseline fundamental knowledge of open source intelligence, OSINT. I always harp on for the people that are in cyber and get duped by all these life coaches or influencer coaches. I'm like, how the hell do you not do OSINT on the people you're paying thousands of dollars to? So, that's the number 1 trade that we start off with any kind of external engagements, right? From an ethical hacking, offensive security standpoint, is OSINT, open source intelligence. So I believe that book right there would be good baseline of building a good foundation for building up that skill set, and pretty much going into them, open source intelligence, social engineering, the pen testing, and first starting off with that philosopher, hacker mindset, methodology mindset, and then understanding the beginning parts of, in my opinion, the GOAT, Kevin Mitnick, on how he did his things on hacking the human aspect, getting into some of these, at the time, some of the biggest companies, especially when I believe it was the California prison, or was it federal, where they pretty much had to house him, even though he was a nonviolent, I believe, felon. They had to house him into, like what California would call the shoe, because they said that if he whistled, he would set off nukes, right? So it's actually kind of funny when you think about that now. But stuff like that, getting to understand how these hackers think, right? Going from, again, the hacker mindset, Kevin Mitnick telling his side of things, what he did, hacking the human, but also getting into his mind on what made him think and pursue these kind of things, building that foundation of ethical hacking, going into social engineering, and then OSINT, and then finally taking a step back and putting it all together. I think right here, for me, again, the way I think, if I was a beginner today, that would be the best 5 books that I would say and recommend to a beginner getting into offensive security or ethical hacking. So that being said, that's a quick video. Someone asked me to do my recommendations for these books for the top 5. Here's what I gave for someone trying to break in to the offensive security scene. That's it for the video. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree or whatever books that have came out since then or newer ones, throw them in the comments and share to the people, the community. And I'll see you on the next one. Have a good one.